Yo, 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 good people. Welcome to the HerbMan Show.
Yo, good people, it's your homie HerbMan, busting you back upside the head with another hot banger boogie. Hey, look, go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. And if you're new to the program, welcome. Go ahead and hit that logo right at the bottom of your screen. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you never miss what we're bringing to the world, all right? So today, you guys, I want to continue to talk about how to cure death. I know that we are fixated on trying to cure disease, but I really want to talk about how to cure death, because death is a permeated construct that we have constructed for ourselves that really is the root cause of diseases, okay? And as we go along and talk through this video, you guys will understand where I'm coming from. But this social engineered concept of terminating this experience really brings about a lot of anxiety. And it also puts us in the time bubble. And when we're in that time bubble, then we become pressed for time. Pressed could be depressed because you don't meet time perspective of your own understanding. Suppressed because you're not meeting things in a timely fashion. Oppressed because you're not getting things in a timely fashion. And so this whole concept of death, or death being the end of something, pushes us and puts us in a time bubble that causes undue stress on this experience. So I hope you guys get that. So here I have a chart of what death means. And the D stands for desires, okay? Our desires. And when we have desires that are not being met, that causes some negative emotions within this experience, because we feel as though we need to meet these desires. Desires that have been formulated under a system of time. And so if you don't meet these desires, then you get these emotions, which are then the root causes of disease. And these emotions could be anxiety, depression, they could be fear, anger, they could be loneliness, grief, lies, shame, okay? All of these happen to us when our desires are not being met, okay? So we have to kill these things here in order to get into a timeless state of understanding, so that we won't be divided within, individual. That means divided within yourself. That means that you have broken yourself off as this one entity in this time and space. So yes, now all of this will be created in your reality. Okay? But once we create death to our desires, okay, then we also at the same time will create death for these root issues here, these emotions. The E stands for entitlements. We all feeling like we are entitled to have things because we were born in this experience, and we were born in this family. We were born in this region of the world. We were born to this gender. And so we think that we are entitled to what comes to those things. That still puts us in a time bubble, because if you don't reach these entitlements in a timeless manner that you feel you need to reach them, then here comes these emotions, okay? So I want you guys to understand this, okay? A is for your aspirations. These aspirations have been engineered within you to make you feel as though you need to do these things within this experience. And if these aspirations are not being met, then here come these emotions. But if you can have death to entitlement minded, death to aspirations here, then you won't individualize yourself and you can break out of the time bubble. The T stands for task. Okay? Feeling like we have to do this and we have to do that in order to be proficient, efficient, or relevant in this time and space. In order for you to be blessed, in order for you to be cursed, in order for you to be whatever, you have to do something for that. That again will breed individualism that keeps you in the time bubble. But if these tasks are not met, if they are not perfected, if they are not professionalized, if they are not efficient or proficient or adequate enough, then these emotions come about, and then disease can come. The H is for habits. Having habits that create chaos and negativity within the body, but also having habits that don't allow you to enjoy this experience. Because maybe you are an overworker. Maybe you are a person who on drugs. All of these addictions, these habits, keeps you individualized and in the time bubble. And all of these habits also are coping mechanisms for these emotions. But if we can have death to the task mindset and death to the addictive mindset, then we can get out of the individualism, the divided self, and we can break out of the time bubble. And if you break out of the time bubble and out of the divided self, what do you have? You now have unity within the experience, a unified understanding that we're all in this together, we're all working together, and we're all just in enjoyment of this experience together with nature. And that in itself will allow a relief of the stress factor. Also, when you have this unified concept, you break out of the time bubble. And in essence, when you break out of the time bubble, you have not entered into eternity, eternal life. But who would want to live here forever in all of these emotions? Who wants to be plagued forever with anxiety and depression and fear and anger and loneliness and grief and lies and shame? Nobody. Therefore, this social engineered concept seems befitting for the experiences that we are experiencing through our emotions. But if we cure death by killing our desires and our entitlements and our aspirations and our task-mindedness and our addictions and habits, then we won't have these negative experiences in this time and space, which then will alleviate not only the death mentality, but also the diseased physical body. And then understanding that this whole concept is how we're able to be unified within oneself, bridging the gap between body, mind, spirit, and soul. And we reach into a depthness within that particular bridge that breaks us out of the chains, out of the bondage, out of the prison of time. So I hope you guys can understand why I say that we need to cure death, not disease. Because it is the true concept that all of the ancient people before us, the true adepts before us, was attempting to convey to the masses of people. Because when we get into our humanism, then death is always at the end of that particular experience. But when we get into our consciousness, our supernatural state of being, and we realize that there's a oneness to this duality, that there's a overall peace that is here that we have not tapped into yet, and that peace is everlasting. It's not on a time clock or a time watch. Then we understand that we don't have to be pressed for anything to happen in a particular time, because we don't need anything, and we don't need to want for anything, because we have already became here self-sustainable, self-sufficient. And this frees us of these negative emotions and negative experiences that we're always having on a day-to-day basis, because we're so pressed for time. It has to happen now. It has to happen now. It has to happen now. And even the young people feel like their world is going to end if it don't happen now. How can the youth feel like it's the end of the world for their situations? It's because of these emotions. These emotions make you feel as though you need it now. And these emotions, when that now is not met, starts to agitate the internal organs of the physical body. Whether it be the brain, whether it be the liver, the kidneys, whether it be the heart, whether it be the lungs, whether it be the muscles, the nerves, or whether it be the bones. These things even agitate the skin, because we're so anxious, because we're so pressed for time. A time to eat, a time to sleep, a time for this and a time for that. And if these things aren't met in a time, these things start to happen. And over time, when we stay in these emotions, the physical body breaks down, because we're putting ourselves in this time bubble. So when we're talking about curing death, we're talking about curing your earthly attachments, curing the mindset that you have in this experience. And when we're able to give you an understanding that when you do this, you're actually living, that's when life really begins for you. When you have death to desires and entitlements and aspirations and tasks and habits, that's when you actually start to live. And that's when you're actually starting to live in an eternal realm. And then that's when you actually have unified with nature itself. So I hope you guys get this, man. I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Go tell somebody about your homie HerbMan. And until next time, love HerbMan.
Yo, 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 good people. Welcome to the HerbMan Show.